Hello, everybody. Oh, yeah. Yeah. $39.40. How'd that come up so fast? Welcome, everybody. To the Devar Guitar, Mondays and Thursdays. We go late night during the 3 weeks. Right, Susie?
Yes, we do.
We're using a couple of simple melodies. Thanks for checking in. We're going to we read a little bit of Lamentations. We talk a little bit about grief during these 3 weeks. We call this period Between the Narrows. Prayer from within. Poor and wrapped before God. Hear my prayer, my cry comes before you. Do not hide your face from me. Alta stil panecha mimini. This day is hard, leaning beyond tsar. My days like smoke. My bones burned at the hearth. Like a bird in the wilderness. Like an owl in a wasteland, I was restless. Like a bird on the roof. My heart dried out like grass. Forgotten to eat my bread. Shachachti me'achal lachmi, the sound of my sighing. Ko anchati. My bones cleave. to my flesh. But you, God, forever. Okay. So we're looking at chapter 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
You went through chapter 1. You want me to read a piece I wrote about chapter 1?
Mm-hmm.
It's a difficult piece. It's in the voice of the second part of the chapter is in the voice of Jerusalem. It's hard. This is hard stuff. The voice of Jerusalem. It's called. Oops, that's not the one. Unclean and mourning. Jerusalem speaking. No pain like my pain. For these things I weep. My eye, a fountain of eyes. My two eyes, the comforter far away. Refresher for my soul, nowhere to be found. Spread forth your hands. I am unclean, ceremonially impure. All the nations, hear me, please. See my pain. They are gone to captivity and to exile. I called for my lovers. I am deceived. The elders, the priests, perished. They are looking for food. They destroyed my souls, my innards burning, my heart turned upside down, at home like death. They heard me sighing, no one to comfort me. My enemies gladdened. Now do to them what you did to me. My sighs many, my heart faint. That's the voice of Jerusalem. That's something, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and chapter 2 is just as sad and awful. Starts the same way.
With the aleph, because we're in acrostics.
Mm-hmm. So it begins the same way that chapter 1 begins.
Yeah.
The book begins.
Echa, how? How?
But how did it get so bad? How did we let it get so bad? And there are many reasons given over the course of the commentary, these chapters, and one of them is about the spies, that we didn't listen to Joshua and Caleb. Had we listened and we had gone in right away, maybe all of history would be different. It's seen not as an opportunity, but as a missed. Not as an opportunity, I often say, to grow and to have more time, to wander in the wilderness, to get better, to get stronger, to be more ready. No, it was seen in this context as a missed opportunity.
Mm.
And we couldn't get it back. We couldn't get the time back. So here we are in chapter 2, kind of lamenting again all of our misdeeds, all of our missed opportunities, all of our mistakes. And that's kind of what these 3 weeks are about. It's lamenting all of those things. We all have them. We all have coulda, woulda, shouldas that are hard to live with, and you have to let go of.
Echa. Yehi be'apo Adonai.
God in His anger. clouds.
I
The
think this is
daughter
a
of
Hepax
Zion.
Legomenon, yeah, Eve clouded over or something like that. Yeah, it's a curious word. Daughter of Zion, from heaven unto the earth, cast down in anger. Zachar. This Hadom Raglav, we should recognize this from the Psalms. The footstool.
Yeah, you know.
We saw that in Psalm, what was it?
Yeah.
I wrote it down here.
Okay.
130 something. When God's feet touch the earth, so to speak. 132:7.
Did you read this midrash about the
Hadom
footstool?
Raglav. No.
So there's a connection between the word for the footstool and as what is it? Hadom
Hadom.
and dam
Mm.
and blood. So the midrash connects the footstool to the footstool of birthing.
Oh.
And tells just a terrible story about how a woman, when they were slaves in Egypt, the women would help the men make bricks so that they would achieve their quotas. And one woman miscarried into the mud that they were making the bricks from. And because they were, they were so beaten and they had to make them so quickly, she left the fetus in the brick.
Whoa.
And angels, the pain and the sadness was so great, angels carried the brick to heaven. And that was why the Jews were freed.
Oh, man.
From the offering of that brick that carried her miscarried child.
That's a midrash?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a midrash.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
It's serious. Huh?
God looked at it and remembered their suffering. Isn't that
Wow.
something? Yeah.
Hadom Raglav.
Wow. Down from the blood.
Yeah.
The footstool of blood.
Amazing.
Of birthing, because that's the other thing the footstool is used for, is the birthing. It's a birthing stool.
It's a curious phrase. It's a very curious phrase. Wow.
Yeah. This is that time of year, when if you feel the heaviness,
swallowed up.
It's
this verb is used a bunch of times in here. Bilah, Adonai bilah, swallowed up. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Lochamal kol naot Yaakov, naot, neve, like pastures, but here it's also used for dwelling places of Jacob. Haras ve'evrato, thrown down in anger. Oh my goodness. Mitzorei vat Yehuda, daughter of Judah, brought them down to the ground and profaned the mamlacha. There's a theory that this mem is attached to the preceding verb. Profane them. So the malcha v'sareha, the kingdom or the queen and the princes. And her princes. Verse 3. Did you find out the source of that?
No.
It's a tough one.
No, it's a tough one.
Gadah, he cut off in anger. Oh, so many words here, so many strange verbs for these anger. Kol Keren Yisrael, the horn of Israel, the strength of Israel, drawn back by the right hand from before his enemy. Wow. A horn and a sword. The horn of Israel. Like in the Psalm 7.
Mm-hmm.
Back his right hand from before the enemy. Burned Jacob. Yaakov. Burned in Jacob. Ke'esh. Lehava, like a fire, a flame. Ochlas Savev. Devours it all around. Darach Kashto. Pulls back his bow like an enemy. Nitzav Yamino, standing on the right hand. Ketzar, like an adversary. V'yaharog, killed him. Kol Machamadei Ayin, all that were beautiful to the eye. The oil on the tent of the daughter of Zion. Shafach Ka'ish, poured out like fire. Chamatov. Oh man, this is
That's heavy.
a rough text.
I'm telling you, really, it's like, okay, we're gonna get it all out because we, it's really doing that. It's painting it.
Here's Bilah again, verse 5.
If you've lived through war, if you have lived through destruction, I mean, even what we're seeing, this is what it is. This is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is not made up, right?
That's right. This is the way it is. Bilah, swallowed up again twice. Adonai Kyoye Bilah. Like you become like an enemy swallowing up Israel. All the palaces, Shechet, Mivtzarav, strongholds, destroyed them. Mourning, sighing, crying. Yachmos, Hamas, violence, took away Kagan, like a garden, like it was a garden, stripped it down. Shechet, destroyed the dwelling place. Shikach Piel, caused to be forgotten. No, he feel, I think. Caused to be forgotten. Piel. Wow. Okay. The Shabbat v'yit'atz. It's forgotten. Shabbat was forgotten. The seasons forgotten. B'za'am. Apo. Anger. Melech. The king and the Kohen, the priestliness. Right. Zanach. Adonai Mizbecho, off his altar. Mikdasho, rejected the sanctuary. His gear given up on Biyad Oyev.
That's a really interesting twist here that that God kind of gives up on religion, right?
And deliberate. It's very deliberate.
Very deliberate.
God's says, drawing a line
you've
here.
You've turned this into something that is not mine.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Look at it says here in there's a really interesting image in here about drawing a line.
Mm-hmm.
In verse 8. Mm-hmm. Stretched out a line, natakav.
Stretched out the line.
Like a person who's a builder puts on a straight lines, measures out in straight lines. This is such a deliberate destruction. Okay, I feel the necessity to sing a song.
Yeah.
Do you feel the necessity?
I think so.
I feel the necessity to sing a little song. Yeah.
You know, the other thing that that struck me was the things that are being destroyed are the things that turned Jerusalem into a fortress. The things that are being destroyed are the Jerusalem that became about power and wealth and war.
Strongholds.
Yeah. And not Jerusalem, the city of peace. It was no longer that.
Okay, let's balance it now. Oh, do.
So always still something to be grateful for.
Kiru.
Something that you can name and say out loud.
Shiru.
Something you can sing and swing.
Sichu.
Talk about.
Heat hallelujah.
Something you can praise.
Dirshu.
Something that pulls you back into the story and makes it yours.
Zichru.
A memory.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Where you praise God once again. Where you get back to God.
Ki zachar et davar kodsho. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Oh, on my word, to the sweet singer, waiting you could wait a long time. Here's a river along the way. You will drink. To the poet waiting. From the womb of morning to the dew of your youth, God has sworn an oath of priestliness forever. Oh, do.
Gratitude.
Kiru.
Out loud.
Shiru.
Sing it.
Sichu. Heat hallelujah.
Then praise.
Dear Shu.
Make it your story.
Zichu.
Remember.
Ki zachar et davar kodsho. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, I have another piece I wrote.
Let's hear it, because we should finish chapter 2, actually, too, because
we're not in anybody's schedule.
No, that's true. Okay. Good. All right, let's hear what you're up.
Between the Narrows. That's what we call this period. 3 weeks. A dive into grief. Mountains of grief for the individuals whose names on the lists, each name an entire world on worlds, on words, each person a nexus of connections, and what do they leave when they leave? Each person a space, an emptiness, where once that person in liveliness, in this place, without much thought of what they leave when they leave. Every individual, every loss, every person, every thought, large and small, everyone gesturing through language, these strokes, these words, these names, these persons who were larger than the remnant we read as reminders. They say, I lived, remember me.
Wow. That is the 3 weeks. And one of the things that happens in these 3 weeks in Echa is this Lamentations is the ultimate is exile. The ultimate kind of consequence is exile. And one of the reasons, given that in the commentary that exile is so awful, is because in exile we can't observe the commandments. We can't observe the commandments.
Can't turn on the spigot.
Yeah, not in Galut, not in exile.
Larry, we can't turn on the spigot.
And the point about that is, if you really believe that observing the commandments is what will bring godliness into the world, what will bring Yamei Mashiach, the days of the Messiah, will bring the end to this awful war and peace, and the ultimate punishment, the ultimate awful consequence of all of this destruction exile is
Distance,
the
exile.
absolute worst thing that could happen.
Distance from the source, distance from yourself.
Exactly.
Distance.
The opposite of Geula, redemption. This notion of Galut, exile. So we have to make sure that we are in places where we can bring things closer. And defy the distance. Defy the distance. The only way to solve this problem is by proximity. So Larry says that the Shekhinah is with us even in Galut. I love that.
That's right.
And that kind of, Rudy, that's a lovely message for you. It says that ultimately, right, nobody's ever really alone, right? It may feel that way, but you're right, Rudy. You're right. All we've got is to be kind, is to be nice. We love you, Rudy. But I think even with the Shekhinah in exile, it doesn't necessarily mean that we could observe, you know?
We're going to close with the prayer of the hands. Close with a moment of quiet. Honoring our teachers, inspirations, influences, all our relations, our beloveds. Take your thumb now and roll it up and down your heart line. Now take your hands and put them together against your chest like Anjali Mudra. And take your left hand and set it within your right hand, as in the Zohar. Press it to your chest. Feel your physical and spiritual union at your heart line. Spend a moment in gratitude. Hold your hands away from yourself now in a posture of blessing. Palms out. Spread your fingers. Now turn your palms up like the 5-petaled rose, the opening intention of the Zohar. Posture of receiving. You may drop your hands. Leave a moment for the silent expectation for peace. Peace of the near, peace of the far. Take a deep breath and say, Amen.
Mhm. Amen. Amen. Hope everyone has a peaceful and good night. We'll continue our journey through Echa during these 3 weeks and be back on Thursday night at 9 o'clock.
Say goodnight, Susie.
Good night, friends.